Hello and thanks for watching a replica airguns video. My name is Michael K and we're taking a look at the Daisy Powerline 5501 Blowback CO2 BB pistol. And this is my tabletop and shooting review all in one. Again, I've been trying to catch up and get some reviews out, so I've been combining the tabletop and shooting reviews. So they may be a little bit more condensed, but I try to get all the information there for you. So let's get right to it. Now this is a blowback, mostly metal construction gun. It uses 12-gram standard CO2 cartridges. It shoots 4.5mm steel BBs. The Powerline 5501 has a 15-shot dropout magazine, and the Powerline uses a smooth bore barrel, so it's not rifled. And it's kind of a single action only gun. Now what I mean by that is you do have to pre-cock the slide in order to shoot this gun, but the actual trigger is kind of more like a double action trigger. It's kind of a little bit different that way. Now Daisy claims that the 5501 will shoot at approximately 430 feet per second. Now it's kind of hard to say what this actually replicates. It's not really a replica of any specific gun, but it's kind of similar to my Umarex HPP, which I kind of said looked a little bit like a SIG. Now this has sort of a little bit of a Walther styling to it as well, just the shape and the way the trigger guard is similar to a Walther. So I'm going to say it's kind of like a SIG-Walther combination. Now at this point, I'm just going to move it over a little bit and bring in another gun here. And this one you might be familiar with. This is my Umarex HPP. And you can see that they're kind of both very similar size, shape, design. Especially when you look at the magazines on them. Look at the magazines, very similar. Both of them utilize a plastic magazine. Now you can't use them in each other's guns, but they are similar. At least I don't think you can. Well, you know what? Maybe you can. Isn't that interesting? So they're close enough that they may work in each other's guns. Now I haven't verified that. It doesn't fit here, so it doesn't fit in the HPP. But it does fit. The HPP magazine fits in both guns. So that's kind of interesting. Good to know. You learn something every day. Now the Daisy Powerline 5501 is made in Japan. Now mine came in this clear packaging. I'm not going to get right into it, but you can see it's your typical plastic packaging. It came with some accessories that are kind of floating around in here. BBs, CO2, some more glasses, which I don't need any of. I've got so many now. But anyways, always good to have some kicking around. But the version that I sell in my US store does not come with the accessories. It's just the gun on its own. And by the way, I don't sell this gun currently in the Canada Replica Airgun store. I only sell it in the US Replica Airgun store at this time. Now I also sell a similar version called the 5503, which is the tactical version. It has a whole bunch of accessories on it, sight rail, compensator, little red dot scope. Alright, so at this point we're going to do a bit of a walk around, take a look at this gun up close, point out some of its key features. Now of course you'll notice it has the two-tone finish, and what I like is it's not really chrome. It's more of a stainless, and there is a difference. Chrome is going to be super shiny. It might seem shiny in the video, but it is more like a stainless finish, sort of a satin chrome almost. And it's really nice. The slide and the frame are metal. So is the trigger. So the trigger's metal. So are the slide catch. So actually this is the safety here. Slide catch is just in the middle. Okay. And so is this decocker. Alright, now you have an internal hammer here, and the decocker just decocks it, right? So this gun needs to be cocked every time you shoot it. You'll see I can't pull the trigger until I cock it, okay? And so you notice we have some of our branding here, Powerline 5501, caliber, some more information on the back, and with your safety you've got your safe, fire indicators. Now I'm not really sure if this magazine release is metal. It's hard to tell because it's just in there. But it could be metal, it might be plastic, I'm not sure. Now the grips are plastic. This one comes off, reveals the CO2. I'll just show you this right now. The CO2 screw is also all metal. Very, very solid. The way that this is set up, you're not going to have any trouble with that at all. Only thing I'd be questioning would maybe be the magazine. Although, you know, it's just plastic, but it's not going to get a lot of abuse because it's tucked away inside most of the time. Alright. take a look at the right side of this gun. Now again, we have some more information. Here's some instructions on how to shoot it. You've also got your warning instructions, your warning label here. And I like the fact that it's color matched, so it's not white. And we've got made in Japan. I forgot to mention that we actually have our serial number on the slide here as well. So some more information, some German indicators for the German market there. Again, plastic grips. Alright, on top, no cutout ejection port, unfortunately. We do have a white dot on the front, which is nice, but nothing on the back. Would have been nice to have some white dots on the back, but they work okay. I didn't find this gun to be extremely accurate. And again, I wanted to mention this. You have the decocker right here that decocks that. Now on the bottom, you have your sight rail, or sorry, your accessory rail. I always say sight rail, I don't know why. So you can add, you know, like a laser if you want, or a tactical light. And I already showed you the magazine. Metal trigger again. Now the front of the gun is slightly recessed, so the barrel is slightly recessed. You have your inner barrel where the actual 4.5mm BB shoots out of, and you'll notice like some of these guns, it has this extruding barrel. I have to cock it, but what happens when you actually shoot it is the barrel comes out. I believe a BB is allowed to go into the chamber at that point, so it fed from the magazine into the barrel. As it snaps back, it seals it off a little bit more, which I imagine would give you higher feet per second and more efficiency. So not a bad setup, seems to work okay. Alright, so at this point we're going to head outside. We're going to shoot some BBs through my chronograph, 8 rounds, see what kind of actual real world feet per second we get out of the Daisy. Again, the claim feet per second was 430, so let's see if we get close to that. I'll also shoot 8 rounds on the target from a semi-rested position, so the gun will be rested in the front on a sandbag. I'll be kind of kneeling in the back, but it seems to work pretty well. Then I'm also going to do a little bit of slow motion, slow it down to about 240 frames per second, so you can see the blowback action in effect. Then we'll come back and we'll talk about the gun a little bit more. Alright, so we're here with my Daisy Powerline 5501. We're going to be doing the shooting portion of this test. We're going to start out with the chronograph portion. I'm going to shoot 8 rounds through this chronograph. This is a brand new CO2 cartridge. I'm using standard zinc plated 5.1 grain BBs. Now Daisy has a claimed feet per second of 430, so let's see how well we do. Alright, shot number 1, we're ready to go. 385, 389, 393, 385, fairly consistent. 389, shot 6, 378, dropping just a bit. Shot 7, 389, still pretty good. Shot 8, 373. Alright, that seemed to be very consistent, not quite up to 430, but it isn't a really hot day. It's kind of raining, a little bit cool. Alright, so let's head over to the accuracy portion of this test and see how well we do from 20 feet out in a semi-rested position. Going to put 8 shots into the target. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, so we're here with my Powerline Daisy 5501. Going to put 8 rounds in this target from 20 feet out in a semi-rested position, so I'll be kneeling in the back, but I'll be resting on a sandbag in the front. Now, I haven't sighted this gun in at all, so I'm going to be aiming for just under the center mass there, the center bullseye. So hopefully we get fairly close. So let's go check it out. Seems we didn't get a blowback there. Try again here. I think we have 2 shots remaining. Something's going on here. There we go, now it's working fine. Okay, so I think we have 8 shots. I had a weird blowback function. It might be my camera mount kind of inhibiting the full blowback. So let's go see how well we did. I did get, I believe, 8 shots off at least. So we'll count the first 8 anyways. Once I review the video, I'll know exactly how many shots I took. Alright, so this is not going to be my most accurate firing BB gun, but it was fairly well centered, I have to say that. So if you're shooting at cans from 20 feet out, you shouldn't have any problem. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this camera off and just free shoot on this target and see what kind of grouping I can get. Just sort of offhand shooting. Put a couple magazines into this target. Alright, so let's head inside and finish up this review. Alright, so we're back, and the Daisy Powerline 5501 Blowback CO2 BB pistol did pretty good in our shooting portion of the test. Just want to show you a target. Now you saw the target in the video when I was shooting. This represents another 3 magazines, so another 45 rounds into the already 8 rounds that were into this target. And you can see it kind of sprayed a little bit. This was not the most accurate gun, at least for me today. I don't know if anyone else has gotten better accuracy with this gun. I mean, it's fine for a plinker. I wouldn't want to shoot this gun at any far out ranges. I'd say a maximum of 20 feet. It's really fun to shoot. Has a nice heavy blowback. But as you can see here, I didn't get the best accuracy with it. Now I was able to get a total of about 6 15-round magazines before I noticed it drop off rather quickly. So the shots were very consistent right up to the end. And the kick and the blowback seemed to function really nicely, again, right up to the end. Now I really didn't get a true 430 feet per second out of it, but it was a cooler day, around 10 degrees Celsius, and on a hotter 30-degree day, I would imagine this gun will shoot a little bit faster, maybe getting up to that 430. But with that in mind, it was very consistent. Now, I didn't find the trigger to be too bad on this gun. It's a little bit heavier than the Umarex HPP, which I found quite nice, but not too much. It's a bit long, like I said, but not overly heavy, so it's quite usable. Alright, so let's get into some of the pros and the cons. We'll start with the pros. This gun has lots of metal parts internally, the frame, the slide, the safety, slide catch, decocker, all metal, triggers all metal. The only parts that really aren't metal are the grips, which you would expect, but also the magazine, which it would have been nice if it was metal. Now this gun, I've noticed, has a claim of only being 1 pound, but when I put it on my scale, it weighed 1 pound, 7 ounces dry. That's about an extra ½ pound that they're not considering. So I'm really not sure why this gun is spec'd out at 1 pound, because it certainly isn't a 1 pound gun. It's got lots of heft to it. Now the Powerline 5501 has a really nice heavy blowback, which makes shooting this gun a lot of fun. And as I mentioned, it got consistent, decent feet per second ratings and a fair amount of shots per CO2. Now I really like the two-tone look. I was afraid it would be a little bit too shiny, that it would be more of a chrome finish, but I like the fact that it's more of a satin or actual stainless look to it. I also like the fact that it has the accessory rail, which means you can add a laser or a tactical light very easily. And even though it's a small thing, I like the fact that the warning instructions are color matched. So they're not highlighted in white, which I think really takes away from a gun. And I also think the CO2 system is very solid. It's all metal, solid metal screw. You can tighten it by hand, and it also has a groove in it if you want to use something like a quarter to tighten it up. Now there were a few cons. This gun was really not accurate for me. I might try using a slightly different BB at some point. I was using a high quality RWS BB, so it should have worked fine, but sometimes choosing a different ammunition can make a big difference. Might make a difference in this gun. It also would have been nice if there was a cutout ejection port. That always adds a little bit more to the realism. And again, getting back to the magazine, it is plastic, but that's not a big deal because the gun does have good overall weight to it. So you can kind of get away with having a plastic magazine, at least on this gun. And of course the sights were not adjustable, but that's pretty typical with an action blowback shooter. It was nice that there was a white dot on the front, but I think a couple white dots on the back would have been a nice touch too. Alright, so that concludes my tabletop and shooting review of the Daisy Powerline 5501 Blowback CO2 BB pistol. Again, I have this gun available in my US replica airgun store at this time, not in Canada. Now if you're watching this video down the road sometime, you never know, I might have it in my Canada store, but at the time of this video I don't have it there right now. I also have the 5503, which is the tactical version of this same gun. So if you're interested in one of these fine Daisy pistols, then come check me out at replicaairguns.com, where you'll easily find the store located there. Now I've also got my written review that I'll be posting on my website to go along with this video. You can find some more pictures, and sometimes you'll even find some other information that I may have left out of this video. So check that out. I'll put a link in the description to this video. If you're not a subscriber, please make sure to subscribe before you leave. You can also visit me on my Facebook and Twitter channel. Username is Replica Airguns. Thanks again for watching another Replica Airguns video. Until next time, take care.